Hi, welcome to your dynamic Pilates session with me, Sarah Brown. It's an absolute pleasure to have you joining me once more. And if you are new to me, then welcome. It's wonderful to have you joining me. This full body session is an all levels class. No equipment today. We're not using any equipment. It is completely body weight related. So you can do this anywhere. So just plug this in anytime and roll out your mat and you can begin. There's quite a strong focus on the core today, as well as some side plank action. I've been working on side plank and building the strength up around the shoulder capsules and down through the intercostals and the sides of the body as part of a deeper core workout. So when you're ready, we'll come onto the mat. We'll start standing today and we'll get into the legs first and then we'll come down to laying on the floor. Making sure that the toes are pointing out just a fraction is fine. You can have them turning forward, but be aware that if your feet are pointing forward, when we bend the knees, we don't want the knees to fall in. We want to make sure those knees stay over the toes. So sometimes it's just a little kinder for the hips if we have the toes pointing outwards slightly. So we're going to take those hands onto the hips. I'm going to start to work into the glutes and the legs. Big deep bend and stretch and bend. Just taking an easy movement. You can start quite high up and then get a little bit deeper as you start to warm the hips up and the knees up. We're going to go for 10 more. Here's 9 and 8. We're making sure that we're drawing that belly in, and also check in too with the shoulders. If you have been sitting at your desk all day and you're finding that you're quite tense through the top of the neck, just give the shoulders a little roll, just to check in what's going on with those shoulders. Just relax them. Good. We have 4 and 3. Here's 2 and your last one. We then come down into a deep bend. Take the arms directly out to the side. We're going to take a reach of the right arm up by the ear and a little side bend over to the left edge of the mat. And then we come back through to arms parallel. We take it over the other side. Left arm reaches over the ears, right hand towards the left top corner of the mat. And then come back through. Those legs should be starting to feel a little bit engaged right about now. We'll do that one more time. So we inhale, belly in, and exhale. We inhale, reach, and exhale. We then come to standing. We rise high on the tippy toes. We rise up and place the heels down. Squeeze the butt cheeks together. Rise and lower. Rise and lower. We come for 10, 9, 8. So we're working through those ankles. Just starting to activate all the muscles underneath the feet. Really important for balance. Also for your circulatory system and your lymph system. That helps to remove toxins from the tissue. 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and last one. We then place the heels down, bend the knees, reach the arms down directly towards the floor. We then squeeze the arms up above the crown of the head, shoulders stay down. We reach the arms to the floor and then squeeze them up. Let's go 4 and squeeze, and 3, squeeze, 2, here's a squeeze, and last one, we squeeze tall. Now we're going to turn your hips towards the top of the mat and bring your right knee parallel. So we're in a lunge. Now if you go to the left, it doesn't matter. We're going to do both sides. So whichever one you want to lead with is absolutely fine. Take the arms parallel to the floor, palms down, level with the shoulders. We come all the way to standing and into a lunge for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, bellies in. Tuck the tailbone under slightly. 2, here's your last one. Lift the knee 3 inches off the floor. Beautiful. We're going to hold here for 4, for 3, for 2. Feels good, right? 1. We then turn all the way back. Big deep bend. We turn the other way. So I'm turning my left knee in this time. We come all the way to standing and lunge down for 10, 9, 8. Try and engage the shoulders so we draw them away from the ears. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. We then bend down, hold 3 inches with that back knee off the floor, tuck the tailbone under, knit the lower rib cage together, draw the shoulders away from the ears, and press the arms downwards for 5, 4, 3, 2. We then turn back to your big deep squat, come all the way to standing. We tuck the chin in, roll all the way down, letting the arms hang from the shoulders. We then come to the lower rib cage is curling over. Take a slight bend in the knees. We take the fingertips to the floor as we allow the head to descend to the floor. If you can place your hands on the floor, amazing. If not, just place them on the tops of the knees. We then stretch the legs, turn the toes to face the big toes, towards the long edge of the mat, and the heels towards the back edge of the mat. So the feet are parallel. Placing the little pinky toes, really plug them down into the floor. So the blade edge of those feet plugs down. Taking a slight bend in the knees if you need to. You can either place the hands on the shins, the thighs, or on the floor if you have the range, and then allow everything to release. You may wish to take the outer ankles. Beautiful. We then bend the knees, place the hands onto the top of the knees, slightly turn those feet out if you choose. We press the right shoulder towards the left knee and keep the elbows straight. So we're just getting a little twist through the top of the back. So this is amazing for the release of office posture through the top of the back. Come back through to center. We then press the left shoulder towards the right knee. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale, press right to left. Inhale. Exhale, press left to right. Beautiful. We'll come back through. Take the fingers down on the floor. Let's stretch the legs. Take the toes parallel. We then turn your left toe towards the top of the mat. Walk the hands around. And you'll notice that your back foot is now on a 45-degree angle slightly. The front knee is straight. You can either place the hands onto the shin bone if you choose, or if you can get your fingers to the floor, awesome. If you've got blocks, yoga blocks there as well, you can place your hands on your yoga blocks. So if, for all those yogis out there, this would be pyramid pose. But we're not in yoga, we're in a Pilates class. So this is just a forward bend hamstring stretch. Bend into a long runner's lunge into that front thigh. Bend the back knee, place the hand onto the top of the thigh, and we press the sit bones forward. Squeeze the shoulders back as we lift the chest, look up. Continue to draw the belly in so we protect that lower back. We then frame the front foot. Step your left leg back in line with your right into a high plank. Let's step the right leg forward now. Place the back heel down on a 45-degree angle. Stretch that front knee. Draw the belly in, and we forward fold over the front leg. Pyramid pose other side. Deep inhale, and let's exhale, lower that back knee down to the floor. We'll place the hands onto the top of the kneecap on the right leg. Squeeze the shoulders forward, back and down. We lift the heart and chest, draw the belly in as we reach up and back. We then frame that front foot. Step the right leg back into your high plank. Now we're going to hold here. This is just a little activation through the shoulders, the core. Draw the belly in. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. I'm going to take your right knee. Draw the knee into the center of the chest. Tuck the chin in and take the nose to the knee. We then extend the spine, take the knee to the right elbow. Lower the knee down to the right wrist and then bring it back up to the elbow. Come back to center, nose to knee, and then place the foot beside the left. So it's a 3-part movement, this one. Let's go the other side. So we draw left foot in center chest, nose to knee. Inhale. Exhale, take the knee to the left elbow. Lower the knee to the left wrist. Lift the knee to the elbow. Center chest, nose to knee. And then we come back to plank. So we're going to pace that out. I'm going to do this 2 times on each side, alternating each side as we go. Are we ready? Let's do this, guys. We inhale. Knee, center chest. Elbow, wrist, elbow, center, back. Other side. Center, elbow, wrist, elbow, center. One more time again. Right, elbow, wrist, elbow, center, and center, elbow, wrist, elbow, center, back. Lower the knees down. And let's press back into pose. Relax. Challenging right off the bat certainly wakes us up and gets us very present to what's going on right here, right now, doesn't it? We'll come back through to your tabletop position now. Tuck the toes under. We take a deep breath in. And let's lengthen your right leg out all the way to the back of the mat. So we've been working on, we've started the theme of doing the knee swinging in center chest and out to the side. So we're going to do that again. We bring the knee into the center, back out, then back to fire hydrant and back out. Knee center chest, lengthen, fire and lengthen. We go for 10 and squeeze, 9 and squeeze, and 8, squeeze, and 7, squeeze, 6, and squeeze. Here's 5, and squeeze. Now just check in with your eye gaze. We want to try and make sure that the eyes stay at a 45-degree angle towards the front of the mat. We don't want to drop the chin and look to the feet because that breaks the line of the spine. We also don't want to be looking up because, again, that's quite awkward. And again, it breaks the line of the spine into the back of the neck. And we're trying to lengthen the back of the neck and counteract that office positioning, looking at your computers all the time. Let's go 2 more. And last one. And back down. Take a deep breath in. If you want to have a little wrist wiggle, please feel free. Now let's do the other side. So we extend left leg out, knee center chest, extend, fire hydrant, center, extend, fire, extend, center chest, extend, fire, extend, center chest. Keep going for 7 and 6 and belly in for 5. Here's 4, 3, and 2. Beautiful. Last one, guys. Here we go. Extend, lower down, and let's have a little push back. Maybe take the elbows down onto the floor and have the arms just a little bit further out away from you. Take the knees a little wider than perhaps being together, so about hip width apart. Drop the chest towards the floor and look forward. There's a little puppy pose. If you're drawing the shoulders away from the ears as well, you'll start to feel a broadening and almost a stretching through the shoulder blades at the top of the back. If you find that this is a bit weird on your neck, sometimes it can be, just pop the forehead to the floor, but still draw the shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful. So we're going to keep the elbows now underneath the shoulders. Take the forearms to the floor. Now you can have your palms down, you can make a fist, you can turn the palms up, whatever is most comfortable. We're all put together slightly differently in different angles. All right, so whatever's comfy for your wrists is the main thing here. Bring the knees together We'll extend the legs out. So we're in our low plank. I don't often do this. I'm a bit dubious about this sometimes, but we're going to move through a bit of a flow with this one. So the key with this, and the reason why I get a bit dubious about these low planks, is that I often find people sink their hips down and they drop into their shoulders. No, 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 we don't want that at all. That's not great for our lower back. So we want to lift those hips up a little, push into the floor. So you still want to dome the top of the back. You still want to push the floor away with the elbows. Bring your pubic bone. So you're going to tuck your tailbone under slightly. It'll feel really weird. It'll feel like you're overcompensating. But I want you to, because when you do that, you'll feel your lower abdominals engage. This is quite a strong position when we're in this sort of almost curved position, rounded position, which is the complete opposite to what everybody wants to do, which is this, okay? So let's build some strength here, guys. So from here, we're going to roll onto the blade edge of your left foot, place the right foot directly on top of the left, and we're coming onto the elbow and reach your right arm up to the sky. Oh, horrible. Side plank, low side plank too. We've got this. Keep lifting the hips up for 5, 4, 3, 2. You want a challenge? Lift the leg. And 1. Good job. Lower down. We go straight through to the other side. So dome the top of the back, squeeze the hips up, tuck the tailbone under slightly. We roll onto the right blade edge of the foot. Take the left foot directly on top. Sweep that left arm up to the sky. Lift underneath the rib cage. So we really want to lift underneath here. Keep lifting the hips up. Draw the belly in for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. You've got this. Last one. If you want to take a little challenge, separate the legs. If you don't, that's fine. And then we bring the forearms down. We hold here. You thought it was all over, but no, there's more. For 4, for 3, eye gaze forward 45 degrees, long through the spine. 2, and 1, lower the knees down. Bring the hands directly underneath the shoulders, and we can just sit back, give the wrists a little wiggle, have the shoulders a little wiggle, a little twist through the top of the back if you like. Good job. That's not an easy exercise, that one. So do that consistently, a couple of times a day or a couple of times a week maybe, and you will find that the strength will start to build through this whole shoulder capsule area. All right, let's move on. So we'll place the hands down, take the knees about hip width apart, tuck the toes under. We'll start to move into the right and left hemisphere of the brain coordination exercise, which we've done before. So we reach your left leg back, right arm out, and then we come all the way back to the floor. Nothing moves at the spine. So we inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 5, squeeze, 4, squeeze, 3, and squeeze, 2. Last one, hold. Taking a deep breath in, let's point that back toe. So we're going to start to open up through the front of the ankle. Sweep your right arm back as you bend the heel towards the glute and capture that toe. If you can't quite capture the toe, absolutely fine. We can just be here. Okay? If you can capture the toe, we'll start to press into that hand and lift the thigh. So we start to stretch through the front of the chest, front of the right shoulder. We're also activating the hamstring at that back leg. Belly's drawing in and push down into the left palm. We then release, extend, and return to the floor. Straight in other side. Extend left arm, right leg, and back in. 2, easy movement through the hip. Here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go for 2 more. And your last one. Let's lengthen, point that toe. Take a deep breath in, shoulders draw away from the ears. We'll circle the left arm up and back. Squeeze the right heel towards the glute. Capture the toe if you can. We then lift and lengthen. Belly's in. Shoulders are square to the front of the mat. For 3. For 2. Squeezy bum cheeks. Last one. And then we release. Lengthen that arm forward. And then we bring everything down. And let's take a little push back into a child's pose. Now we're going to come to laying on your side. Right or left side, we'll do both, so whichever side you want to start with is fine. We'll place the arm, or the head rather, in your arms. Take your bottom leg to the top corner of the mat and place the top leg directly on top, hips are square. You may wish to either place your hand on the hip, the top arm on the hip, or probably better yet, just tap the fingers on the floor in front of you for support. Now, making sure that the lower abdominals are engaged, we're drawing the pubic bone towards the long edge of the mat that you're facing and lengthening the lower back. So we don't want to have a big curve in that lower back. And make sure that we flatten that lower back out and draw the belly in. From here, we lift and lengthen the top leg, 45 degrees above the hip line. Hips are staying square. If you get the leg higher and the knee comes towards the shoulder, it means that your hips have dropped back. We do not want that. That's not the exercise. So hips stay square. We only lift the leg as high as it will go with the knee pointing directly to the side long edge of the mat. We lower down for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We hold it here above the hip line and pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really trying to elongate that long bone of the thigh out of the hip and away from you. Rather than retracting it in and crunching through the side body, we want to try and lengthen that leg out and away. So it's a long, lean movement. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We squeeze, hold 10, hold here. Sweep the leg forward to come to bring the foot aligned to the front of the hip. Ideally, the leg stays super straight, and then squeeze it back so that the leg's above the bottom leg. Squeeze forward in a pendulum, and then squeeze back. Now just check in and notice, are you having a dip to come forward and then a dip to come back? We don't want that. We want to keep everything above the hip line. Squeeze and lengthen. Beautiful. Squeeze and lengthen. We go 5 and 4 and 3. Here's 2. Last one. Lengthen. Now from here, we bend the knee in, keep the thigh completely parallel to the floor, heel comes to glute, and then extend the leg back to where it was. We squeeze heel to bum and lengthen and squeeze, elongate, and 3 and lengthen. Try not to drop the knee. 4, 3, 2, last one, and we lower down. Beautiful. We then bring the knees in, take a little transfer over, and we'll change sides. And extend the bottom leg, top corner of the mat. Top leg goes directly on top. Little tip here, if you notice that your toes are not aligned, means that you're retracting your top leg up into the hips. So you want to make sure that the big toe mounds do connect. Unless you've got one leg longer than the other, then I can't help you there. You've got your proportions and that's what you have to deal with. But if your legs are the same length, then try and make sure that the hips are aligned. Okay, so we lengthen and lift. Little fun fact for you, about 90% of the population have different leg lengths. So we want to try and be as close to aligned as we possibly can given our proportions. Some people have nearly what, 2 inches, 1.5 inches, 2 inches of difference in their leg lengths. It's quite profound. Good. 4 and 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Hold. We pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8, 9 and 10. Again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. We squeeze, hold. Let's lengthen that leg forward in a pendulum and then squeeze back, no dippy legs. We squeeze for 2 and back and 3 and back. We go for 4, squeeze, 5, 5 more. Good. 4 more. 3 more, keeping that leg truly turned in. 2 more. Last one. We lengthen, hold these legs parallel. We bend the heel towards the glute. Do not turn that knee on top. So we don't want to turn the leg out. We want to keep these thighs parallel and then extend the lower leg. We squeeze for 2 and 3. Good. 4. Good. 5. You may start to feel it biting into the top of that glute medius right about now. That's the plan. Building that strength in that outer edge of the hip. So we build the strength and stabilizers. 2 more. Last one. Squeeze, hold, and lower down. Beautiful. Let's hug the knees in, and we'll transfer to come to a seated position with the soles of the feet down on the floor, hands on the top of the knees. Let's press the chest forward, lengthen the spine, and then take a big deep C curve. Pull the belly button through to the back of the mat, tuck the chin in, tuck the tailbone under. If you are quite tight through the top of your neck, this might feel quite nice. And then press through, and we squeeze back. We press through and squeeze back. Let's go one more. Squeeze through. Take the soles of the feet together, hands onto the top of the toes. Press those knees down. If you can only get your knees to here, that's okay, so long as you're feeling a stretch, okay? But if you do have the range, wherever you're at, it's absolutely fine. We'll then just do a little fold forward over those legs. Amazing. So we're now going to take, I'm just going to change my direction here. We're going to take your right leg over the top, taking your feet as far away from your hip line as you can. We're going to squeeze those shin bones so that they ideally line up to the front of your mat. The knees are directly one on top of the other, and we're hugging the inner thighs, so the long bones of the thighs are trying to compress in as tightly as they possibly can. We reach the arms all the way up to the sky, and we fold forward. So we've just worked the outer edges of the hips. Now we're stretching them. Just take your time with this, about 5 breaths. Be quite an intense stretch if you're not used to it, and particularly given that we've just worked it as well. It's quite an interesting sensation. Beautiful. We then come all the way back up to the top. Let's take that top leg, turn it in as we come into a little zigzag shape. We take the arms so that they're in between both the foot and the back leg, and then we lean forward. Try and drive these sit bones both evenly down into the floor, and you will feel a stretch on the inside seam of that back leg. You may not be able to get quite as much range with this. If your internal rotation of the long bones of the thighs in the hip socket is quite tight, like mine is, then this can be a very deep, intense stretch, even though you're not maybe getting much range of motion. You're not moving that far, but it can be quite interesting. Beautiful. We then come all the way back up. Let's bring that right back leg around now and change over to the other side. So we align the knees one on top of the other. Try and get the shin bones so that they're parallel to whichever long edge of the mat you're facing. We reach the arms all the way up to the sky, and we fold forward over those legs. So depending on which leg you have on top, you may find it's a little bit more intense into that hip stretch on that side. And then we come all the way back up to the top, and we'll take the left leg a little zigzag, so we internally rotate the long bone of the thigh. Try and press this sit bone down. So if you notice that it's lifting up, we want to try and squeeze it down into the floor. We reach the arms up to the sky, belly draws in, and then a gentle fold forward. Beautiful. We come all the way back up to the top. Let's bring that left leg a little circle around and align ourselves so that we're facing the correct positioning on the mat. We'll roll all the way down through the spine. We'll start to work into the abdominals now. So taking a deep breath in. If you want to take the feet to the outer edges of the mat, you can do so. A little windscreen wipe, a little internal rotation through that hip socket and joint. And just notice how the outer edges of those hips feel. Amazing. We'll bring the feet back in alignment with the sit bones. Knees are pointing to the sky. Feet are about 2 fist widths or a hip width apart. Taking a deep breath in, we pull the belly through to the spine. You'll notice the pelvis tilts as we flatten out that natural curve in the back. We then tilt the pelvis the other direction towards the top of the mat, increase the natural curve. So we flatten that curve and then increase the curve. Taking the arms down, palms up, in flatten and increase. We go for 4 and 3. Here's 2. Last 1. Lower belly pulls in. Continue the press off the floor of the sit bones as we roll up into the shoulders. My friends that have any neck concerns, try not to force into this too much or at all. Try and go a little bit in your range and then go a little bit further on the next if it feels okay. So we'll roll all the way down. You never want to force anything. In any yoga or Pilates, there's never a forcing sensation or action ever. We're always just going very mindfully, very easily, gently, being super mindful of what's being activated, how we're moving, the speed with which we're moving. Always coordinated with the breath. Always gentle with ourselves. We can often be too hard on ourselves. And we beat our bodies up. We expect so much from our bodies. Beat ourselves into submission. It's where injuries tend to occur. I'm sure we've all been there. Want to go those extra reps, go that little bit further, go that little bit heavier with our weight training. And then we end up going ping and breaking. Never good. All right, so we roll all the way up through the spine, come up onto the shoulders. We'll rise up onto the tippy toes, squeeze the glutes, reach the arms above the crown of above the shoulder line, palms face each other. We reach the arms above the crown of the head and then back up to the top. Squeeze and 2, and squeeze and shoulders down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one for 10, and then we roll back down through the spine. Keep the arms where they are, plug the heels into the floor. We squeeze the head and shoulders as we come up and then come back down to the floor, arms up to the sky. So nothing moves at the shoulders, it's the upper body that's making the arms move. And 2. Inhale, exhale, and back. Here's 3. And squeeze for 4. Beautiful. We'll go 4 more and then we're going to add on 4 and exhale. Here's 3 and exhale. For 2, belly to the spine, exhale. Last one, we squeeze, hold, turn the palms down a little press down, shoulders draw away from the ears. We then bring the right leg in, place it on the floor. Nothing moves at the torso, nothing moves at the hips especially, and place it down. So completely neutral, we're just hinging the hip socket. 3, and lower. Inhale, exhale. So if you do notice there's a lot of lateral movement going on at the hips, really pull that belly button through to the spine and draw the shoulders away from the ears. Feel that connection spot at the belly button and also the lower rib cage really knitting together. So it should feel quite a strong engagement through that little spot there, that whole middle part of the torso. All right, inhale one more. Place the sole of the foot down. We reach the head and shoulders down. Maybe just give the head a little wiggle. Now we're going to add on. Why not? It's all fun and games, right? We take a deep breath in. Exhale, reach and lengthen. Come up a little higher if you can. The chin is elongated to the sky, long through the base of the neck. So we're not tucking the chin in and closing off the airway. Never good. Okay, so shoulders draw away from the ears. We draw right knee in. Extend parallel to the floor. Feel the belly engage. Feel the lower back flattening to the floor. If you're peeling and you're getting that natural curve, just lift the leg up a little bit more. Okay, we draw the knee in and extend for 10 and 9. Inhale, exhale. Notice the shin bone is sliding parallel to the floor. We're not dropping the lower leg. We're not lifting it up. It is parallel for 3, 2, 1. Place it down. Other side. In for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, belly 4. You can do this. Stay strong. And 2, breathing, and 1. Place the foot down, reach the arms all the way back. Take the arms and elbows to a 90-degree position. Lengthen your left leg up to the sky, flexi toe. Roll over to the right side of the mat, keeping that leg extended and the toe flexed. Deep breath in. We come back through to the center. Change legs. Right leg extends, toe flexed. Take it over to the other side. I'm going to bend my leg because I've got a ball next to me. And then come back up to the top and place that foot down. Beautiful. We take a deep breath in. Bring the knees and the head and shoulders to a tight ball. And then we extend all the way out, flat back to the floor. Belly draws in, arms come through, knees come in. We extend. Let's go 4 more. 4. Extend. 3, extend. 2, extend. Here's your last one. Squeeze. Extend all the way out. Take a deep inhale. Tuck the chin in. We roll up through the spine. Legs squeeze together. Fold forward. We sit tall. Let's do that one 4 more times. We roll down through the spine. Super slow. Arms reach back, inhale. Exhale, chin tucks in, fold forward. Lift and lengthen. Rolling back down through the spine. Squeeze all the way back. Inhale. Exhale, chin tucks in, fold forward. Sitting tall. We roll all the way down. Reach all the way back. On this last one, we'll stay up. Fold forward. Lengthening the spine. We'll take the legs to the top corners of the mat. Center myself here. And we're going to take your right arm back, left arm forward. Belly draws in. The legs are super active and strong. And then we reach towards the top right corner of the mat. A little fold. Coming all the way back up to the top, gather everything. We then reach your right arm forward, left arm back, belly in, shoulders down, little fold forward. And let's come back up to the top. We'll cross the legs, come through your tabletop, lengthen into your high plank. We then step your right leg forward, outside the right hand, lower the back knee down. Turn the toe on a 45-degree angle. You might want to place your right hand inside the right knee and maybe even press that knee back. You may also choose to come down onto your forearms. So whatever you feel you need today, if you're really quite tight through these hips and into the front of the legs, then take the knee wide, really open up through that hip. And taking deep inhales and exhales. Beautiful. Then bring that foot back in underneath the shoulder. Slip the sit bones back and draw the toes back towards the face as you lengthen the spine. Now, if you do have a full split in any of your yoga practice or your Pilates practice, or if you do bar or anything, and you're working on your splits at the moment, then please feel free to launch in, have a go. Otherwise, this is absolutely fine. Now, if you've got a slight bend in the knee as well, that is also fine. The key is this lower back is straight and that you do feel a stretch in the hamstring. Whatever range you're at and wherever you're at is fine. It's all about safety, not about the end position so much. Beautiful. We then transfer forward to the front leg, tent the fingers on the floor, lift the back knee off the floor. We'll step forward, place the feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. We'll interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze the heel of the hands together, allow the torso to completely fold forward. We did do this at the beginning of the set today. Have you got a little more range? If you don't, that's fine. If you do, awesome. Now, sometimes this can be a little challenging if your shoulders are tight. There is an option here to take the forearms and allow the body to fold. So whatever you choose. We then release the hands, place the hands down on the floor. We then step your right leg back into your long runner's lunge. Perhaps take the left shoulder on the inside of the left knee. You might want to lower the back knee down. You may wish to turn the toe on the outer edge of the mat, press the left hand into the left knee, or you might want to come down onto your forearms. And we're here for about 3 or 5 breaths. We come back up onto those hands, wiggle the foot between the hands, shift the sit bones back. You might want to slide that heel forward before you draw the toes back towards your face. Ideally, we want to have these hips in between the two heels, not the hips back behind your knee line. Find the restrictive and constrictive stretch. What to happen is you just want to sit down on your heel, really get the stretch the way. So it's better to try and slide that front heel out away from you and then draw the toes back towards the face. You're also able to then square those hips off. So it's just a little tip there. Big deep breath, allow the forehead to release. And also, if you did splits on the other side, go for it this side. You know what you need to do to keep you even. Then moving into a long lunge, tent the fingers on the floor. Let's take that leg wide of the mat and the left leg wide of the mat as well. We'll drop and settle into your big wide squat. And The aim here, of course, is to try and get the heels down and plug the little pinky toes down. If you find you're up here, that's fine. Place the hands on the inside of the elbows. Try not to dump and lean in. You want to push away as you let the sit bones descend to the floor. What we don't want to have is a rounding through the back in this sort of rounded position with the heels up. Okay, so you can place the hands on the elbows on the knees and start to press the knees out and lengthen the spine. So even if you're flat back to the floor this way and your hips are up quite high, until you start to relieve and release through the inner thighs, this is fine. You'll notice that things start to descend down over time. Bear in mind too that depending on how much range of motion you've got in your ankle, you may never actually be able to get into this position. So it just depends on how you're put together, but there are variations on a theme that are going to work the target zone, which is getting into the inner thighs. And if you need to move in that position because it's excruciating, you can do that, that's fine, until you can find your stillness and use the breath. We lengthen the spine. It took me a very long time to be able to be comfortable-ish in this position, and I still can't do it for any length of time. About a minute is quite enough for me. So, you know, we're all sitting at desks all day. It's terrible for this particular position and having the range of motion through here. All right, taking a deep breath in, we hold for 4, for 3, for 2. And on your last one, let's place the hands down on the floor or step your left and right leg back into your high plank. Maybe have a little hip swivel. That's it. And then we come down onto the knees. And let's take your right leg, cross it over the left. Take your elbow around, the left elbow around the right knee, and hug the chest towards the knee, making sure that both sit bones are down. We don't want to have one hitched up, so really push it down into the floor. Take your right arm behind your sit bone, take the elbow on the inside, left elbow on the inside of the right knee, and as we exhale, we lengthen and lift and twist, stretch. Beautiful, let's come back through to the center. We'll do that on the other side. So crossing left over right, anchoring that left sit bone down, drawing the knee in towards the chest. Take the left hand behind your sit bone, elbow on the inside of that knee. We inhale, lengthen the spine up first, and then we turn. And then we come back through to the center, taking a deep inhale. We can cross the legs, one in front of the other, in a comfortable position. If you want to come to a reclined position for this last part of the session, please feel free to do so, whatever is the most comfortable for you. Place the hands down, either palms up or down in the lap. And we'll just start to bring the awareness into the center of your being, whether it is at your third eye space, heart space, or your belly. Close the eyes down, or if you find that challenging, just hood the eyes and look down with a soft, fuzzy focus gaze just in front of you. Focus on the inhales and exhales. And begin to refine your awareness as you turn inward. Notice the heartbeat. Notice the ribcage expanding and contracting with each breath. And having found your center, begin to move your awareness to your third eye space, the bridge of the nose between the eyebrows. turn your internal gaze, your eyeballs up to your third eye space, and notice any color shifts and changes, any sensation changes. Feel the muscles at the back of the eyeballs relax. Continue to look up and begin to breathe into this space through your third eye. And together as a collective group, we will breathe together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And feel tension melting into the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. And exhale, let it go. Release the pattern of breath. Allow the breath to flow at your natural pace and rate. Simply observe you sitting on your mat, breathing, being, not doing, just being. As you complete your next 2 cycles of breath, bring your hands to your heart prayer center and your thumbs to your third eye space. Flutter the eyes open as we take a bow. Namaste, everyone.